read.
Bill for America.
Senator Durnall to present the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. House Bill 1453, it's a cancer research and treatment grant bill. This bill establishes a pediatric cancer research and treatment grant program to be administered by the State Department of Health. It also establishes a pediatric cancer research and treatment fund. It prioritizes use of the funds to be in an innovative research and treatments with the potential of resulting in novel therapies for pediatric cancers. Requires the State Department of Health to submit an annual report to the Governor and Legislative Council concerning the grants and publish the report on the State Department's health website. As amended in committee, it also requires the Indiana State Department of Health to establish a program to provide grants to cancer centers in Indiana and also to increase breast cancer research projects or breast cancer clinical trials. It also sets forth the State Departments of Health duties under the program, and it establishes the Breast Cancer Research Fund. There are organizations that have already stepped up to be part of this funding program. I believe, along with Representative O'Brien, that and so many parents that have lost their children, this is a good, positive step. As Chairman Charbonneau said in the Health and Provider Committee, this bill is a bill of hope. And I cannot agree anymore. This bill did pass out of the House and Health Provider Committee and Appropriations unanimously. This bill, as you see, does have bipartisan support, and I would like to thank Representative O'Brien for authoring the bill, along with my sponsors on the Senate side, Senator Schmidt, Codora, Ford, Yoder, Jackson, Becker, Kreider, Good, Charbonneau, and Lonnie Randolph. I would also want to thank the parents and relatives that came to testify. They are truly the heroes. Losing a child, I can't even fathom how that is. I ask for your support.
Thank you, Senator. Is there discussion? We'll do Senator Yoder and then Senator Jackson. Senator Yoder. Yes, Senator Durnall, do you yield? Senator Yoder to question the sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Senator, for taking my questions. So, this will require an appropriation in our budget for both breast cancer and for pediatric cancer. So with the pediatric cancer, how much are we funding this bill through our general fund?
I don't have that number in front of me right now.
Zero. Nothing. So you said this bill is about what?
Hope.
It's about hope. Thank you. No more questions, Senator. Permission to speak on the bill.
Senator Yoder to speak on the bill.
This bill is about hope, but it's not about funding. We heard this bill, families who are going through pediatric cancer, who have lost children due to pediatric cancer, came and testified, and there was not one person who heard their testimonies that remained unmoved emotionally. And it was unanimous to fund pediatric research. And I recognize that we have to make tough decisions in this body when it comes to budgeting every 2 years, and maybe even more tougher choices this biennium. But when it comes to breast cancer support and pediatric cancer support in our general fund, nothing. So Senator Durnall is right. It is a bill about hope, but it has no funding, and we can do better. Yesterday on this floor, I offered an amendment that would provide funding that was budget neutral. Right now, when we are asking every agency to have no budget increase, when we asked other programs to take a decrease, we actually increased in our budget money to Real Alternatives. In our state budget, we didn't even ask Real Alternatives, a Pennsylvania program that we're funding through Indiana dollars. We didn't even ask them to stay at least the same level or consider what the constraints are with our budget, to consider doing more with less. just like we've asked every other Indiana agency to do. And in that amendment, I just said, let's reduce the amount we're going to support Real Alternatives and use that money to support breast cancer research and pediatric cancer research. And a resounding no came from this body. I ask, if 1001 is not concurred and there is a dissension, I ask for this consideration for all those who are living, experiencing, and survivors of breast cancer, and all those living the horrors of pediatric cancer, that we can do better and offer more than just hope, but we can actually fund this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Jackson. Senator Jackson is speaking on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. Senator Yoder is right. We heard testimony after testimony. I'm gonna tell you ones that have probably hit home from you, were the mothers and the parents that came and they sat their pictures, their kids' pictures in front of us. I don't think it was a dry eye in there. I know mine wasn't. I had to excuse myself to go to the restroom. Right now, we are treating kids with adult cancer medication, and it's not working. It's killing them. We need to find a solution and help them find a solution to help treat the babies and the kids with medication that is going to work for them, their sizes, their bodies, their chemical makeup, and their biological makeup. They're kids, they're not adults. We and babies and kids have two different makeups. What this bill will provide the research to help do that. Also, for those who've ever had a family member or a friend and they have to travel, the grant part of this, and they need to travel and they don't have the funds to do it, the last thing you need to think about is how are you going to come up the money you need to travel somewhere to get this research that you're available for. So if you qualify for it, but you don't have the means to get there because you're barely paying your bills, this grant would afford them and a family member to do that. We're asking you, we're pleading for you on behalf of others. Let's help our constituents and our people. Let's pass this bill, folks. This is a common sense bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Kudora. Senator Kudora to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. I'll be extremely brief. In 2017, 8 years ago, I lost my niece. She was 4 years old. She had a stage 4 neuroblastoma. And I can tell you, for those who have a family member that they lost to cancer, it's a horrible disease. And living with the family, my brother-in-law and his wife going through the experience, traveling the nation, desperately trying to find a cure. It was extremely difficult. And I was with them in the last few minutes and seconds of the life of their own daughter when they witnessed her leave this world. I do understand how difficult this session is in terms of budget or revenue availability. I supported the bill, and I'm honored to sponsor the bill, and I'm honored to support Senator Durnell, not just because of family experience, but also have constituents in my district. I know John and Connie and their grandson, who also unfortunately is experiencing difficulty with this disease. And there are many across the state who deal with this issue. There are many horrible diseases that we try to deal with here in the General Assembly. And I know that we don't have ample resources to deal with every single chronic or rare disease. But the option shouldn't be we either deal with all of them or none of them. It's like a binary option that if we can't fund all of them, let's not do a thing. I think even if we move forward on one single thing, make progress on one single issue, including funding pediatric research on pediatric cancer and breast cancer, it's extremely important. These are breast cancer and pediatric cancer is leading cause maybe second or third reason of death in the United States for kids between the ages of 114 for pediatric cancer and for breast cancer, mainly for women. So I know I supported the bill. I was disappointed that the funding aspect was removed from the bill, but I still supported it despite my disappointment, because the fund still allows for philanthropic dollars to be deposited in it. So at least having the fund established will allow us to come back and continue to champion and advocate for more funding for this bill. So thank you, Senator Nell, and on behalf of the constituents in my district who are struggling with this issue, and colleagues in this chamber or their family members or their friends that they know, I pray for your recovery. I pray for your families. I pray for your friends. And I hope that none of us and none of our friends and families have ever to experience that horrible experience of losing someone to cancer or any other disease. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Ford. Senator Ford to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the Senate. I will also be brief. I just want to thank Senator Knoll for his work on this bill. And I know we're talking about the funding, but I do want to shift the conversation a little bit, because we heard in committee, in the Health Committee, that there is already money ready to go. These folks just need a place to put it. And a lot of those parents have already started different organizations, some in their name as of their children. And for us, this is an outwardly statement to not only the rest of Indiana, but to the nation, that we care about this issue. Another thing that we heard in committee was that annually the FDA approves approximately 12 drugs for adults, but in 50 years, 11 drugs specifically for children. And a lot of the parents lamented that they are concerned that their children are using adult, brutal, chemo protocols. And what would it be like for those protocols to be children-specific, children-related? That was a quote from Dr. Stancato with the Indiana Biosearch Research Institute. The other thing that he said was that in the state of Indiana, quote, "In the state of Indiana, we have everything necessary to discover, manufacture, and distribute drugs for kids with cancer. We just have to put it all together," end quote. And so I think that's what this bill is doing. Yes, it would be amazing for us to put an appropriation to this bill. But to take it a step further, a lot of these parents already have money that they are willing to put into this fund for themselves. And that's what this bill would do, and I would ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Further discussion? Senator Dorio to speak on the bill.
President, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, I'm going to try and get through this. You will not see me Tuesday or Monday because I'm going to be at the doctor with my wife. She will be preparing to go through her third breast reconstruction. It's a hard thing that people have to go through. So, if we can find a little cash, I'd be grateful. My wife and I don't need it. We have good insurance and we're able to take care of these things. But I cannot imagine being a family that couldn't afford these things. So, thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Further discussion? All right, Senator Denial, would you like to close? Thank you.
So all the testimony was compelling today. I have a good friend whose son is dying of cancer, pediatric cancer, and it's a very rare cancer, and it's horrible. This bill sets up that fund that we can all put in, organizations could put in, and be part of the solution. Senator Charbonneau, I keep bringing your name up, but that is that hope, right? We want to make sure that we could do what we can as a state. And, you know, we could argue more, we could probably do more and so on. But the point is, now it's started. Now we could look at this. And as time goes on, we could even put more in when we do have more money. But I do appreciate the time, Mr. President and members of the Senate. Again, I hope to have unanimous support on this. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this bill is placed upon its passage. The machine is open for voting. All right, this machine is now closed. Clerk will tally the roll. 48 ayes, 0 noes. This bill has passed. Shall the title of the bill remain the title of the act? Senator Durnall. Thank you. Secretary will inform the House of the passage of the bill. Continue the roll.
House Bill 14